and that God is in a way what you make him to be, or it to be, you know. So yeah, that's kind of where I stand on that. I mean, I'm definitely not a Christian, and I don't subscribe to any sort of Christian views. But sometimes, you know, sometimes Christians actually have all right things to say, you know, if they aren't fanatical about it, you know. And that's the other thing, is I believe that people should be free to believe in whatever the hell they want. But as soon as you mix, you know, extremism or with ideology and things like that, you know, it's bad, whether it's Christian, pagan, or whatever. So yeah, the short answer is that I take more of a heathen view.
It's a very difficult question, I have to say. In first place, I can hint on the first lines of song 8 of our last album. There are spoken lines which really get across my personal view on spiritual contents. And personally, I really believe in the immortality of the human soul. And Dornenreich has always been trying to combine the earthly contrasts we're all living in, you know. And even nature itself is based on big cycles of day and night, and winter and summer. And therefore, even in our music, we try to get across these cycles in an artistic way, in, for example, combining warm southern acoustic guitars and cold distorted guitars, for example. In my opinion, the instruments are symbols for natural powers, and yeah.
So what I'm wondering is, do you feel hopeless when it comes to the future of mankind, to our ways of living? Or are you maybe hopeful, even now in our times, with the current economic crisis, which really shakes a lot of people, and also kind of increased consciousness about the environment? Do you believe that trend, that it could actually get us around, maybe on the right track, or would you say no, it's actually the way it's going, it's kind of hopeless, and humanity is going in the wrong direction maybe, and this view on humankind being in a balanced relationship with nature, it's a very romantic view. We want to aspire it, but it won't happen again because we have gone too far in another direction.
So which question do you want me to answer? Well, I mean, yeah, I'm always hopeless when it comes to the future of mankind, because I mean, mankind is a pretty hopeless creature. I mean, we're a very negative creature, and we destroy, I think, more than we create. And but I have no doubt that years after we've killed ourselves off, nature will be back. There's no way that we can destroy nature. Nature can destroy us, and probably will if we don't do it ourselves. But I mean, after everything is gone and all that, the planet will renew, and you know. So with all that in mind, you know, I try to do my part in terms of you know living, I guess, green, as they said, even though it's pretty much impossible. You know, when you have a car, when you fly to Europe to go on tour, to when you're on a bus, you know, using gasoline and things like that. But you know, that doesn't mean that I have to also be a slob and pollute, you know, with garbage and not recycle and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I think in some ways mankind in certain areas, especially in America, is waking up a bit more, and in some ways catching up with Europe, because I've noticed that for years, Germany has had a pretty strict recycling program, whereas America is just now getting on board. So, I don't know if that really answers your questions, but yeah, I'll let him take a shot at it.
I think artistic expression has to be critical for sure, but Dornenreich has never been hopeful in the end. Every single album has a positive outlook in the end. But I've always been trying to focus on the human individual, because I think that real change and development relies on individual progress. And in my opinion, current systems, religions or political systems, economic systems, seem to fail. And I guess it's time to address oneself to the human individual on a very archaic and elemental level. Yeah.
Okay, but thanks for that. And okay, after all this talk about God and the future of mankind, I want to get back to maybe a little bit more profane topic, and that is your music and what you're planning on doing next. I know that Dornenreich, you already have a title for your next album, which will be Flammentrieb. A word I also found in the lyrics of your latest album, actually. So one question would be whether there's kind of a bigger concept behind that interesting word, and also then the question, how far is the process in terms of writing the songs, recording, and when the album will be out, and maybe what direction it will be going into, because your latest album was a mostly acoustic affair, and what can the fans of Dornenreich expect from your next effort?
You're right, the title word, the Flammentriebe, has been a part of our last album too, and translated to English it means something like the urge of the flame, and currently the lyrics are not written, they're not written yet, but the music is quite finished, and I guess this very record will surprise many people, because it will be a very, very dramatic and rather fierce and passionate, I guess one can say, black metal album. And yeah.
And John, obviously I'm also interested in what will be next for Agalloch. Your 3 albums are all really different in their style, and their atmosphere they are creating, and especially on your EPs you're putting out, mostly Strictly Limited, so it's really hard to come by them. You're experimenting even more, even going so far as to including electronic sounds and all that. So what can we expect from the next Agalloch album, and actually, especially when can we expect it? Because last time it was like a 4-year wait, and I think your fans getting kind of needy right now to listen to more music.
You can expect the unexpected. I mean, really, well, I only have 3 songs